of course, Webex calling is, for all intensive purposes, a large PABX in the cloud. And as a user or as an organization, we need to get our numbers into that cloud somehow so people can call us. But we also need to be able to make calls out. And so we have to connect PSTN into the Webex calling cloud somehow. So just a little touch on Webex calling, okay, for people that haven't. We have 3 offers for Webex calling. We have Webex calling as the standard offer, Flex, which we talked about a second ago. We have Webex calling for government. And if you're in the United States, that would be an offer that's specific for US government or local governments or stuff like that. It's run in separate data centers. It's got that FedRAMP level of security, okay? And it's been designed for that level. Now, that's not to say that the Webex calling platform that you buy under Flex isn't secure. So we have what we call in Australia IRAP. It's Australian government security process and procedures and controls. And Webex calling in Australia is IRAP certified. So that means partners in Australia can go to government organisations and sell Webex calling multi-tenant to government organisations. So it's not to say that Webex government is purely the most secure one. It most probably is, but we still have offers on the table that are secure. And we have Webex calling wholesale. Again, available to our partner community, service their customers. And, you know, most of the stuff that we're going to talk about here isn't valid for government, but will be valid for wholesale. So I just sort of wanted to do that. A little bit on the platform at a high level. What is it? Well, it's a single platform that does calling, meetings, messages, supports devices, has contact center, and we have a bucket load of APIs and SDKs that partners and users or customers can use to automate a lot of features and functionality. Enterprise-grade security from the ground up. We've got collaboration built in there. We've got a heap of analytics. We have edge services, which we need to get connectivity in and out of Webex. And we handle on-prem or hybrid or fully cloud in a platform. If we have a look at the user experience, we have a single app. That single app has the same look and feel regardless of the device you're on, be it a board like I'm here, or a laptop that's running Apple or Windows, or a phone that's running iOS or Android, or a tablet. It's the same look and feel. So that intuitive experience doesn't have to be relearned depending on what device you're going. That single app handles callings, meetings, messaging and tools. It controls your devices and has integration from other app vendors for things like Salesforce integration or anything like that, call recording. Those other types of integrations can be built in to the Webex app. We have 2 flavors of Webex calling, okay? We have multi-tenant, which is, as it sounds, is our multi-tenant large platform that we put all of our customers in. Each customer has their own tenant in that, okay? But it's structured where it's uniquely scalable, I should say, okay? So we can scale our multi-tenant Webex calling platform both vertically and horizontally, depending on what use we need for connectivity, such as session border controllers on one side for access, or session border controllers on the other side for peering. Or we can scale the core horizontally as well if we need more capacity for servers. Dedicated instance, on the other hand, is a dedicated instance of CUCM in our cloud. And so customers that are running CUCM can migrate their CUCM, and we have some brilliant tools that enable that migration to dedicated instance in our cloud. But it takes away all of the headaches that that customer and their management we're having about upgrades. We have problems at the moment with CUCM virtualized and VMware. We know there are problems there. We can take all that away and virtualize that in our own data centers and give you a dedicated instance of CUCM. I know Vish talked a little bit about, we're going to have some sessions later in the Collab Unleashed about multi-tenant and dedicated instance, so we're not going to go in there too much. Just letting you know that there are two platforms. A customer can have multi-tenant and dedicated instance in one organization. There might be some call cases where they need dedicated instance features. There might be some where they're pure telephony, and so we can mix and match dedicated instance and multi-tenant telephony in the same customer organization. Let's have a look at our Webex calling global footprint and basically where our data centers are. So if we have a look at the Webex, unified Webex data centers, we've got a couple of those in Europe. We have a look at our calling data centers, which is the important part. We have Sydney and Melbourne, Tokyo and Osaka, and of course, across Europe and the US. That's not to say we can't run sales into countries. We can sell Webex calling into a whole raft of countries, okay? We also have media pops. So we can see we've got media pops in Seoul and Singapore, some in South America, and across in the US as well. So we can sell Webex calling, or partners can sell Webex calling into countries where we don't have a calling DC or a media pop. We're running some control stuff in AWS in the US. We have some common identity data centers in the US and Europe. And common identity is where the user ID and password and authentication happens. Okay. I do believe we're getting a common identity data center in Australia at some stage. I don't know when that's going to be. We also have device management data centers, and that's where that yellow Dallas one is. It's our MPP device EDOS, which is our device management zero-touch platform, is originated from. And so I touched a little bit on scaling of Webex calling. So for our multi-tenant type platforms and in a Webex calling region, we can scale that access side with the number of SBCs we needed based on customer requirements or scalability. On that left-hand side, we can see that access and session border controls. On the right-hand side, equally, we can scale our peering SBCs, okay, horizontally as well, vertically as well. The more capacity we need, the more SBCs we can deploy. In our call control call, we can add more application servers, more media servers, more servers will run our HTTP services on a horizontal scale. Just as we need more capacity, we can add more application servers or more core control servers as we need. So the scalability of multi-tenant is quite amazing. So we've given an overview of Webex calling. Let's now try and work out how we're going to get our numbers and minutes, our incoming calls and outgoing calls to work. So what is PSTN connectivity? Well, it's the ability to make local, long distance, international, and emergency calls. We need to make calls. We use the PSTN connectivity and your phone number to register and maintain your emergency services address, okay, when you call the emergency services. We need a phone number to be advertised so you can receive incoming calls through your unique phone number. And because the world is full of change, we need the ability to take my phone number and move from one PSTN provider to another PSTN provider. And so we need that ability to port existing phone numbers from one PSTN provider to another PSTN provider. And that's equally important when you're migrating to Webex calling. We might go through a certain PSTN vendor that is not your PSTN vendor at the moment. We might have to move your phone number across to another PSTN vendor. So there's basically 4 options that we have for getting PSTN connectivity into Webex calling. And they vary as everything does. We can start at the lowest end, and you could have a device on your customer's site called a local gateway. So the scenario is you've got a customer with ISDN or SIP trunks coming in to their on-prem PABX. They want to start to have some WebEx calling. So they have some calling that's being delivered from the cloud. How do you get their on-prem PSTN point of presence into the cloud? Well, we would use a premise-based local gateway there. And that local gateway could connect to the PSTN provider. It could connect to their existing PABX and could also connect to WebEx calling. And so you can do a migration, a slow migration of users off the PABX locally onto WebEx calling, utilizing that local gateway. We have a host of cloud calling or cloud connected calling providers, CCPs. And these are SIP trunk providers, service providers that have already done the hard yards and have built dedicated links between their infrastructure and WebEx calling. And so they've already got a link, and we'll touch on CCPs later. To be a CCP, like I said, it's a reasonably large project. It goes for many months. There's a lot of rigor that is applied to those CCP vendors, a lot of certification, a lot of testing and things like that. So it is a very robust way to get your PSTN delivered into your WebEx calling. You might be buying WebEx through a service provider. And so that service provider might be selling what we call WebEx for Broadworks. So we have many Broadworks service providers out there still running their own Broadworks platform. They've tied that platform into WebEx on our side, so we're getting really good cloud features, but that service provider is providing the PSTN from their Broadworks platform. So that's a service provider running WebEx for Broadworks. The other option, which is available in countries that we'll detail later, is Cisco calling plans. And so it's where you can't use one of the other three options, okay? Or you want to be able to, as a partner, you want to be able to order some Cisco calling plans when you order WebEx calling. It's intended for value-added resellers only, okay? It's a very easy way to set up calling minutes, numbers into WebEx calling through Control Hub. And so we have a limitation with that, whereas we have some of the countries that we can't offer it into.